Greetings, weary travelers. Come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. I am your host, LotusOfDoom, with our buddy Ark, who is back. Yay!
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back. I mean, it's been, I don't even know, months, I guess, between
Yes,
my last
sort of.
surprise guest episode and this. So yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, the live show, as everybody who's hanging out with us realizes, not the usual. Not that we really even have a set schedule for the live show anymore, because going around guests with different time zones, we kind of just go whenever we can. So thank you, everybody who shows up to the live shows, as sporadic as they are. I try to give a better heads up on when we're going to go live. This was literally shouted out like 20 minutes before we went live, just because we were trying to see what we could do about this. But this week, since we have some news, which we will get into, it's mainly preparation for Thursday, the 27th, which is when we get our reveal for the new chapter. And Ark hasn't really been on since the whole hype cycle has started, so figured get your input on that, talk about what we might hope to see. I haven't gotten any of your crazy, wacky predictions, mine being mostly wrong. So... And, yeah, we'll just kind of do that.
Sounds good
I guess,
to me.
Yeah. One thing that I did want to shout out, because we didn't have any specific written word ones, but one thing I did want to mention, just because Ark made a pretty funny post about this, was on last episode, which was episode 293, we happened to reach 293 individual iTunes reviews globally, which was just kind of amusing. So that was just a funny little thing. Thank you, everybody who takes the time to do that. Because on Apple, it definitely does matter. We still don't know if it matters on Spotify. Do you have any deep behind-the-scenes knowledge on that? I just told people, hey, we've got stars there. If you want to give us 5, thanks. And many of you have, so thanks. But I don't know if it works like Apple.
I don't yet know how effective the Spotify reviews are. I guess it's too new to tell how they affect like ranking and everything like that, if there is a ranking like there is in iTunes.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I did add our Spotify feed to my like review rating collector service that I'm using. But it was mentioned that they can't pull reviews, I think. If there is even reviews, it just can pull ratings, apparently. So...
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I'll have to manually go in there and check those out. I just need to not forget doing that. So.
Details. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the fact that so many of you take the time to actually just do that in case it does help, thank you. It's just appreciated. It makes us look like we actually know what we're doing, which if you watch the 20-minute pre-show, you'll also realize we don't. So, I appreciate the lie you help us propagate that we're very professional about all of this.
I mean, over the 293 episodes, we got really good at pretending we know what we
did,
doing.
And to your credit, because I feel like, especially recently, since you've been doing more work behind the scenes than like on the show, at this point, I think you have mastered audio majory, because what you did with the last episode was nothing short of a small miracle.
See, the thing is, I have like zero knowledge on actual audio engineering, like actually using the proper tools for the job. I got really good at barbarically butchering the audio tracks and making them, like folding them into what I need them to be. So that's mostly what I do. I just like cut them into 1,000 pieces and put them back together, and it somehow works.
That's so great. And yes, you did even not edit out the Guar bit, which we made a joke about. You won't have to go through and edit each individual piece, and then the show exploded promptly thereafter. So I feel like there was a little bit of too much tempting fate in that one.
Yeah. I mean, I did see the thing was to show you that I could have edited that out, which I did on Twitter. But I'm not a dictator of the podcast. Okay, I'll Lotus is the host, and he is free to spread his propaganda of lies and slander. I just wanted him to know that I could have edited that out if I wanted to, which is
you
totally,
have the power
totally
to do
not
so.
a totalitarian rage. It's
that
fine.
is quite a word.
Yeah, I couldn't say it. So, as one thing, during the live show, apparently my audio is crackly, unfortunately. We tried to fix it, it didn't work. Normally it happens because of voice meter clashing with my other audio drivers. Right now, I don't have voice meter, but it's still clashing with something. But thankfully, well, hopefully, our local recording will not have that, so here's to hoping.
Yeah, because that would be super annoying. I'll just that be a
I'll just barbarically edit this out as well and hope that it works out.
I said you became very adept with like being a mage of audio, but it's actually just you're just full on tanking the audio by smashing it into a corner. So.
Yeah, pretty much. So, what is our
all right?
What do we talk today?
I guess so. This is weird. It's strange leading with you being on the show because I was used to following your lead for so many years, so it's a little strange. So I guess we'll kind of just jump into a couple of the news bits to start with, which there's not a lot, but there was some stuff that happened. The Daedric War Celebration is currently going on. I don't know if you've had any game time to deal with it. They released the new pet, which you're going to piece together to make the new things, the ticket-based events. And it's called the Daedric War Celebration, which is Morrowind's chapter, Somerset's chapter, and the Clockwork City. So it's like the closing of that whole storyline from way back in the day. And you want to do one repeatable in Somerset and one repeatable in either the Clockwork City or Vardenfell. To get each of your tickets, you can get 2 a day. Same situation they've had for the past several years. The other thing is doing what are they called? Abyssal Geysers. That's the name that I'm looking for.
Right.
So this is sort of like part of my tales, but like just something I wanted to bring up. And I'm not sure if it's unique to just me. I've heard that it's not from a couple other people, and I don't know really how it would be because they're world events. The spawn timer on those things is, well, really bad. Abysmal, actually. They're abysmal Abyssal Geysers because, like, I don't know why they are down for so long. Maybe I just have really bad timing, but, like, they're never up for me, which is weird. So it's been a lot of waiting around for those, which I'm not a big fan of. And the dailies, that they have some decent drops and stuff like that. So I do suggest kind of vary them because you get a lot of crafting materials that they want. There's motifs, stuff like that. A lot of decent stuff so far that comes out of them. The drop rate seems better than last event because I've actually gotten a couple of these gold pages where last event I got nothing, literally nothing. Every page I got was given to me by somebody who got duplicates. I couldn't believe it. So that's the wonders of RNG there. But also doing that, if you haven't already cleared the zones, you can fill up your sticker book, your collections log from the drops that come from it. So in general, pretty decent, pretty simple to do, especially if you haven't done those zones. I believe there's double drops in those areas too. So like you not drops as in like, oh well, actually, you probably do get double drops. Yeah, you do. Never mind.
Yeah,
so also
like
double drops.
I think, yeah.
But what I meant, even though I said that and it turned out to be true by sheer happenstance, I think the nodes give you more crap too. Like.
I feel like in every event that's the thing, yeah. Like you get double drops from the nodes, the quest things, like
and
the
quest
boxes
things.
and everything, yeah.
And it does factor in with your CP, so that's also pretty handy. Because if you get a double pull on a double pull, that's a lot of materials, which is pretty handy.
Yeah.
It does not apply to surveys, though. Just keep in mind, that'd be amazing. Wink.
That would cause instant inflation of everything.
And that's not what PC needs at this point.
No, we need it more.
Okay, Blaze, thank you so much. Yeah, confirmed. It's definitely double drops on nodes as well. Cool. Yep, and Ishii said as well. All right, thank you. Perfect. So the event itself, pretty good, pretty standard. I do like the combined event like this rather than these Somerset Celebration, Morrowind Celebration, where we kind of overloaded on events. These, good work, Zoss. Do more of this. Combine them. This is the way to do them because it gives you multiple options to do them and still covers all the things. One thing that I would be remiss to mention before we just move on, I saw it from Benevolent Bodhi, friend of the show. He mentioned something that is really awesome, and I did not think about this being a case. So, there is a Clockwork City daily about the crows. They're the ones for the Blackfeather Court. Mm-hmm. One of their quests is notoriously obnoxious. Most of their quests are pretty obnoxious, but when you do one of their quests, it's basically bringing them back trinkets and junk to complete the quest. And for the longest time, you had to pickpocket this garbage, and it's random chance what you pickpocket. One thing that Benevolent pointed out on Twitter, which I never thought of, if you have completed the Dragon Guard storyline and have rebuilt their sanctum, there is a chest you can open once a day. Oh. It has random trinkets in it. You can collect them, no stealing required. It auto-fills every day, and you can use them to complete the quest.
Oh, that is good.
Amazing.
That is... I would have never found
amazing. That. Yeah, I wish that was a thing when I was doing 30 of those, because that was awful. A lot of NPCs had to die. But it's for the greater good of achievements. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in-game at the moment. Did you have anything? I know you had just kind of glossed over what's been happening. Do you have any, opinions on the supposed PvP update we have on the horizon, where, much like with PvE, with the multi-threading, they're now apparently doing back-end work to finally correct the issues with PvP, except they've mentioned it will probably have a similar 1 year long time span to get this ironed out. Because I know you've long since missed PvP and honestly have enough issues where you can't even PvP most of the time when you tried to play.
Yeah, Cyrodiil hasn't worked for me in a long time because my usual ping to Elder Scrolls Online servers are 100 to 130. Just my usual. So going into Cyrodiil, even on EU, has been pretty unplayable unless the server is empty, pretty much. Now, the thing is, so basically what Matt Fire said in the forum post was, okay, so we realized, well, I am paraphrasing, or basically just going through what I understood from the underlying message there. So they finally figured out that they just can't duct tape it together. That's just not going to work. That's, from everything I've gathered, that's what they've been trying to do to fix PvP in Elder Scrolls Online. Just patch it, duct tape it, use some glue, and see if it works, see if it holds. And that just hasn't worked, as we all know, over the course of several years. And I've always mentioned that whatever issue Elder Scrolls Online, especially on PvP side, has is just at the foundation, and they just can't and won't be able to fix it up at this stage, 7 years into the game's lifetime, by just trying out different things and changing or fixing the code here and there. They have to just go deep diving into the whole structure and change it from the ground up. Now, the problem with that is an absolute nightmare. For a developer, that is the worst task you can be assigned to.
I can't imagine
there
where
is-
you even start.
There is almost nothing worse than doing that on a 7-year-old code base, especially if the code base is not like academically good, which I assume is not in any game ever published, because the fact that
Valid.
any game is ever released is a miracle. They like if you look at it, this is a joke within game developer community. Looking at any game, regardless of how small or how big, it's a miracle that they release at all. It doesn't matter indie, AAA, AA. It's just they shouldn't release at all, but somehow they do. So what Fire said was they are gonna go back to the foundations and start fixing that from there. Which, if they can do that within a year, that's actually really good. That's actually
Right.
pretty good.
That's actually pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Like,
But at this stage, that is really the thing to do to actually try and fix Elder Scrolls Online's PvP side. And I hope it works. And I wish
Yeah, me
all
too.
the best to the team that is going to be assigned on this task. And I hope they get to see their families. I hope they get to see their friends throughout the next year. Because that is a nightmare task that they are going to be taking on. And yeah, just good luck, I guess.
yeah. So I kind of echo that sentiment as well, where I really just hope that they manage to figure out. Honestly, I hope we've made the joke before that it seems like with them, anything that can go wrong finds a way to go wrong.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if for once they did something and it just happened to work. They don't even need to
Yeah.
understand it for change. Just for once they do something, and instead of like, oh my God, like, of course this happened. How about just for once, it just happens to work?
Yeah.
That'd be that'd be a
That
nice
would be
change.
very nice, yeah, but I don't think they are that lucky.
No, I don't either. So far, they're batting a 0, I think, in regards to that. I don't think they've had anything just happen to work like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Fingers crossed. There's a lot to be seen going forward with that. I know there's quite a few tensions in the PvP community with varying degrees of good reason, but like, you know, how some of it's handled is not great. So like, you know, hopefully this actually does end up working in the end and maybe bringing people back, or just letting people who are still interested enjoy it more, because it is a lot of fun if you do like it or even just want to dabble in it. But the performances, and I mean, they know it's the performance is a huge turnoff to so many. And most, not all, because again, like you said, nothing just works, but a lot of the problems with PvE were actually greatly improved. I won't say fixed, but greatly improved for the most part with their kind of like year of dedication to performance in PvE. A lot of the trials aren't quite as bad. Like things that were long-standing issues, a lot of them were corrected. You know, not everything, obviously, but at least from my experience, it's definitely better than it was. And, you know, I've mentioned that part of the holdup is I think last gen is unfortunately just stretched to its absolute limit.
Yeah, probably.
Because when you make the shift from last gen to current gen, or from console to PC, it's so much different. It's really like, oh my God, this is not the same product.
It makes sense. How long has it been since last gen? Like, when was last gen
I think it was
released?
like
I want to say 2000.
I think it was basically the year it came out, like the year ESO came out.
No. Like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One was released.
I think it was 2014 or 13. So it's like,
I kind of want to say even earlier than that. PS4 came out in 2013. There you go. Yeah.
So but the difference is ESO has been, you know, adding all this stuff because it also ran a lot better originally. on console. They've been adding all this stuff, and PCs can upgrade, so you're matching it.
Yeah.
Consoles weren't upgrading, so it's like you're pushing more stuff on something that can upgrade. It's still that old, so it's like November 2013. Thank you so much. That's exactly it. It's like I think they're kind of capped out on RAM and just hard drive readability because the load times are insane. Whereas when I went to my PS5, it was like, holy crap, it runs like my PC. Like, it's amazing. And hopefully one day those won't be impossible to find for everybody as well. But
yeah,
that's a whole other issue. So I guess the other thing we need to discuss news-wise, which yours has not arrived yet, although it seems like yours is in transit, which hopefully will get there
I don't
one
even
day.
Officially know whether if I'm getting one or not. I just think there is something.
Yeah,
I don't know what it
you
is.
were sent something, and it's weird timing to be sent something that isn't this, because that's exactly.
I have been
Skinny
asked
Cheeks had mentioned
for my address. That's it. That's all I know.
And so that's exactly what was done with me originally, and Skinny Cheeks actually had mentioned it on the episode with him and Nephis, where he was like, "Yeah, Gina asked for my address. I guess I'm getting something." And to anybody who does not do the social media thing, what we're talking about is the yearly hype cycle thing that they send out. Thank you to Gina and Zos for including me in this. I'm very appreciative that you send this so that we can actually talk about it on the show. Not to mention, selfishly, I just love this stuff. So it's really neat. You can probably tell by my wall of collector's crap behind us. In the episode with Benefactor, I will definitely say again, to reiterate the sentiment, I really hope that for the community at large that is super interested in this stuff, I hope that the Bethesda store does make this stuff available to everybody who's not like here for marketing reasons, I guess is the best way to say it. Because I mean that's what it is. This is a inexpensive, well, not, it's moderately inexpensive because this thing's pretty bulky, form of advertising, because it's sent out to people that are doing stuff in the community. And I'm glad to see that I've seen some artists and other people who are not just like streamers and stuff like that included. So I really do like that. Hopefully they keep expanding that so that it's available to people who want these and don't want to be left out. But yeah, so what we were sent this time is a little pouch thing that holds a medallion. It's not even so much a coin.
I love that pouch.
There it is. I changed the my camera.
That's massive compared to the coins we usually get. Oh, wow. Okay. That's like a palm size, and you have big palms.
I can palm a basketball for context. And then a letter that was also included. It is all documented on the UESP as well as the Imperial Library. For anybody not watching the video, or if you are watching the video that would like to fully read this stuff, use either of those resources. They're both fantastic. They have descriptions and photos up on them. So, check that out if you want to get some in-depth on it. But as a quick run through, it's a letter that is intercepted, actually. So curious to see where this is going to lead to. There's a lot of implications of mage influence, with Magnus being mentioned in the letter. Also, Investigator Vale, I believe it is, with Lady... it's DeVoe, I believe, but Arabelle DeVoe. My pronunciation is terrible. I apologize in advance. I think that's how you pronounce that. But there's a lot of different references to things going forward, and a lot of them are mage-based, which, with the storm that's kicked up in the teaser trailer, also kind of seems like it would make sense, because that, which has a lot of people, kind of on the fence about it. Malmar have that Maelstrom ability with the sea and stuff like that, so it already seemed like there was some magic related to that, weather magic stuff. So very curious to see how this all shakes out going forward. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really, really excited for the 27th at this point. Like it, this was kind of the final one that I wasn't sure what else they were going to do prior to the reveal. So this one's pretty sweet. It really seems like there's just so many potentials for what they could do with it. So I'm curious to see exactly what part they're going to nail down.
I mean, every time we go off, like outside of Tamriel, with the exception of Somerset, has been absolutely fantastic. And to give its right to Somerset as well, as an expansion, that was a really good expansion. Now, the concept of it sucked because it was Somerset and it was Ultimate.
Sure.
As an expansion, it was a very well-made expansion. It was actually one of the points in Elder Scrolls Online's, expansion and DLC history that from that on they really got better. With Somerset, they really upped their game. So
I feel that Somerset was a turning point in their storytelling.
So they do a really good job with introducing a whole new island so far. They did that with Morrowind, like Vardenfell, same with Somerset. Clockwork City, it's still off-world, so even if it's not an island, it's off-world. So it's exciting to be going on yet another island or continent or whatever. I guess we'll see. Some people say we are going west. Some people say we are going east, which is interesting because as far as I know, there isn't much in the east. And there's like a lot of Breton inspired visuals in the teasers as well. So I guess going west, sort of going west to either Yokuda or one of the islands. It makes sense to me.
I'd be curious because my big thing is I've been very curious on the Yakutan thing as well because I'm not sure how that would look on a map. What with the main island of Yakuta being underwater, but there's still the islands around it. Would we get several land masses instead of one big land mass?
I would like that actually.
That would be an interesting change to the dynamic.
I mean, one could be the chapter, one could be the DLC, one could just have dungeons.
Sure.
Like they did with Falkreath Hall. I mean, instead of introducing it as a zone, they just introduced it as a whole dungeon. So
right. So there's definitely some interesting potential for I don't know, variety, and they might I assume they'll keep the same type of rollout as best because it does work for them. But they might be able to do something a little different with what that rollout is through the current year, which would be kind of interesting because a little bit of unpredictability goes a long way when people don't know exactly what to expect. So so I don't know. Very, very exciting stuff. Really, really curious to see. Don't forget to tune in if you can. I will be at work, which will be real miserable. So to anybody that will be watching it, make sure to post all that good stuff on Twitter so that I can check in because I might not have enough bandwidth for video feed to watch that, but I do check Twitter an irresponsible amount while I'm working. So updates, please, to everybody that would have interest so that I am not totally left in the dark. So this kind of brings us to, we're covered the main idea of stuff. Ark, what have you just been up to? I mean, I know you haven't had a ton of game time, but why don't you do what have you just been up to outside of just work and stuff?
Working,
I was gonna say, what is your experience been? Because I actually gotta just open the door to let Boots in real quick. So
sure.
Take it away. Just fill people in because it's been a while, buddy.
Yeah. So as some of you know, I have been gone from content creation and gaming mostly since I got into a new job, which has been going really well. Albeit it's been really busy, and the reason I haven't been content creating or whatever much has been because it's been big because this time around I wanted to like do it healthily. Like I used to full-time work and do podcasting and streaming and everything sort of full-time as well, which is something I can do technically, but it wasn't really healthy in the long term. So this time around I'm trying to maintain a proper sleep schedule, which is difficult with my insomnia, and try to just like live a healthier life, so less content creation. And I had been burned out of ESO, and I hadn't played ESO for Tatanko goes in chat like, Lotus, tell us more, and then leaves. But I had been burned out of ESO. However, recently, well, not recently, it's been a while, but we don't get much game time together, unfortunately, mostly due to my work shenanigans. The Untaunted, your favorite Dungeoneers, have returned to Tamriel, and we've been trying to play more together again, clearing more achievements together. We actually completed, so we only had 2 missing hard modes as a team together in terms of dungeons, and that was Dread Cellar and its parallel dungeon. I don't remember what the name of it. The museum one, I think. So one of them was Dread Cellar, one of them was the museum one. So we finally got through those hard modes as well, and we did that fairly easily too. I'm just gonna let Lotus put on his headphones because I see him on camera now. There he is. So after months of not playing together at all, we got into Dread Cellar and the other dungeon, and we cleared those, and we ran out of hard modes. So we were like, okay, we are gonna play tonight, so what should we do? And Jen was like, well, I don't have the skin from Moonhunter Keep, so we can do no death run Moonhunter Keep. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Red Petal Bastion, yes, thank you, Dread Cellar and Red Petal Bastion. So we got into Moonhunter Keep, and we started attempting, what's his name? Attempting the no death, which, as a group as unfocused as us, is difficult to do because we don't really play the game seriously. Like, even in a no-death situation, I can't stop myself from trolling people, or Kitsu can't stop from, as our bloodthirsty DPS, can't stop from running straight into one of those gigantic werewolves and giving us heart attacks.
The behemoths will kill you through other people too, which is why that place is actually pretty obnoxious to no death.
Yeah, so we are doing no death, and it's like we go into that room where there's like 4 other rooms on the like sides, right? And there is 1 big werewolf, like 1 behemoth, and 2 normal werewolves in one of those rooms that you have to kill for no death. Almost every single time, we go into that room, we clear it, and Kitsu straight up runs right in there because she forgets, and I forget, and everybody forgets every single time, even though we are doing the dungeon back to back. And then Luna starts screaming, I start screaming, you see Kitsu running straight out the room with the behemoth chasing her. And we are just like, oh no, oh no, no. I pop barrier, Luna pops barrier, we stack everything to avoid dying. So it's a lot of like panic. Because as I said, we just don't really take it that seriously and just play for the shenanigans. But eventually
we got to know... It's a fun way to do it though.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, we generally die while laughing. Like, there's 2 reasons we die most of the time. Well, 3. Either I space out and forget to taunt or do anything. Basically, just literally space out and just get one shot.
And it's just like, oh, right, I'm still playing.
And it's like, yeah, I die. And the second time we are laughing, so nobody really can do anything due to laughing. Or the third version is... What was it? I forgot. I thought about 3 reasons and I forget. This is exactly what I do in the middle of the dungeon as well.
See, the third reason is forgetting the mechanics.
Jen and Kitsu have way too much DPS. Literally. It gets us killed most of the time. it's insane. Like, we trigger so many mechanics back to back, we end up dying, and I almost always end up asking Jen and Kitsu, like, please slow down. I can tank that much. Like, I'm a good tank. But when you spawn 50 werewolves at the final boss at the same time because of the DPS, it's like, I can't keep up.
It's so brutal. I mean,
yeah,
it's been a while back that I did that pure lunacy thing, which is the perfect run in there where you have to do the speed, no death, hard mode together. And to second that, whereas everybody just was like, they went hog wild on the actual thing. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to grab all this. Like, there's so much crap.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, to your point, they can do so much damage so quickly. It's basically like you only have to do it for a few seconds because the fight's over so quick. But it backlogs in that place and just dumps all of the werewolves where it's like, okay, here's 3, here's 2, here's 3 more, here's 2 more, here's 3 more, here's 2 more, and also the side wolves. And it's like, also, I need the boss. And then here comes the mechanic that won't skip where you have to do the Simon Says wizard game.
Yeah.
And then there's the wardens that pop up, the lightning wardens. And, like, we failed in execute of doing that a few times because there was one run I couldn't reach the boss to puncture her. Like, there was too many ads. I couldn't get through to actually get aggro. And she lunged over the werewolves and crushed one of the DPSs. I was like, that's not fair. I can't get to her.
That's like, those situations are the only time I wish there was AoE taunt in the game. But that would just make so many things so much easier that I don't want an AoE taunt in the game. But it's like sometimes, not being able to, like, even if you can get to it, sometimes you just can't target it. You hit everything else. Even with tap target, I was trying to tap through the things, and I select every other werewolves except the main boss, and so... But we eventually got it, and then in between one of the runs, I coughed and accidentally pressed E on the hard mode as well, because, that happens, definitely. So we ended up doing the hard mode as well in there, because we didn't do it before, due to the bug of not having a 4th circle at the end. I guess they fixed that, because we just did it and got that out of the way as well.
To that point... The circle thing is usually fixed. It will sometimes still happen. But the thing about it is, which we kind of learned the hard way, is we had 3 people basically go for the 3 that they could see no matter what. And I actually would look for, at least for us, there was like the one that's missing, it's there, but there's no symbol. For us, it kept spawning directly in front of the boss when it's in the middle of the room. So if we didn't have one and nobody could see it, I would try to sprint to the middle and just stand there and assume that it was there, and it saved us on more than one occasion.
Okay, that is interesting.
That was what, but on the flip side, that's not that common. Most of the time it just worked, but it's still not perfect.
Honestly, if you figured something as specific as that, have you bug reported that? Like this?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, because that is like a huge thing for a developer to fix that up. Because
it's a long-standing one too.
Yeah. If you figured out something that specific, like it spawns in front of the boss, type thing, that is huge.
I wonder if I've updated it like the last time, because originally I was just confused what it was, and then like I wonder if I've actually updated what I've sent.
If you figured out such a specific behavior, I would just message them again.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea, so I think I will probably do that. Now that you say that, it's like, that's true, because we did actually have that ironed out to the point where it was pretty particular where we figured out how to do it.
Right, yeah, I would definitely message that again. But yeah, so we ran out of things to do, and we thought from now on, I mean, we don't have any more dungeon hard modes. So next time we get back together again, we are starting our Perfecta runs.
Yeah, now you're talking. Now it's going to get even more wacky.
Exactly.
And soon you will learn. I mean, you guys sound very similar setup where it's just like complete over the top DPS so that it's like the time will unlikely be a problem. The hard modes will unlikely be too much of a holdup once you kind of iron them out so that it's not just like, hey, we got through, and it's like, okay, we've got this pretty much down. It's really just having nobody get clipped by anything while trying to be super speedy. Oh my god, there's so many that it's like, what, why? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, there's just one problem with that is, I mean, we called our group Untaunted for a reason, and that reason is me. I forget taunting stuff. I space out, so I don't know how we are going to do perfect.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
And on top of that, because we ran out of things to do, and I was streaming as well, so someone suggested, should we do a trial? I was like, how? And they were like, I guess we can do a trial with just the 4 of us. I was like, can we do that?
Normals aren't that bad with 4 to 5 people,
so,
if you're all very comfortable with it.
Yeah, so we just did like normal Asylum Sanctorium.
Yeah.
Not with +3, but just like plus 0.
Oh, yeah.
We got through everything, and I think we know that. We were about to know death it, and then someone just died because I might have forgotten to do something again. But yeah, so I'm thinking like on the days we want to chill, I guess we are just going to do normal trials together. The ones that don't require 12 people mechanically, like Hell Rustedal, where you have to stand on portals or whatever. Or was that a Tyrian Archive? Whatever. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. It took a lot of time, because even with the Beast 2 DPS we had, it's just, doesn't add up
it's
to being
meant for 12 people, even on normal.
So there's like 25 million health on the thing. So, but it was a lot of fun. So I guess we are going to do that as well. I heard Cloud Rest is potentially doable as well with just 4 people.
One of the things that I did when I was kind of testing how to get an achievement, again, on PC, there's a very helpful add-on that will prevent you from ever screwing this achievement up, but there is an achievement for, I believe it's called Shocking Instinct, and it's for, the bar swap mechanic that you can get in Cloud Rest. So it is for never having anyone take damage from the bar swap mechanic.
Oh, wow, okay.
Meaning the second it goes live, you have to immediately flip because you take a very small tick to trigger which is obnoxious on console because it doesn't automatically do that to prevent it or anything like that. Like it's actually pretty difficult if you don't have like it locked out essentially. And my thought was, well, what if you don't have a second bar? Well, the first thing we learned was if you just equip one weapon, your fists count as a back bar. So that's not any good because you just get electrocuted on. But what we did find out is, what if we remove the ability to have a back bar, i.e. be a werewolf? There is no back bar. What the game does is it gives up. It just doesn't give you the mechanic. Nobody can get it because you physically can't do it. We went in with 5 of us, and we all brought companions. So technically there were 10 of us. Companions only have 1 bar, so they can't switch weapons. And we 5-personed and 5 companioned the trial on normal, all as werewolves. And we got the achievement because nobody had a second bar to switch to. So the game literally skipped the entire mechanic. They're just like, this boss doesn't have a second mechanic. Oh, well.
Dude, that is insane. I love that.
So yeah, that's if you're looking for that achievement, that is absolutely a thing you can do. I have video proof on my YouTube of it, of us just doing it. And we slow rolled it on purpose because we're like, let's really make sure it's not just being lucky. And we were in there just on the side boss for like 7 minutes, just nobody getting the mechanic. We're like, it's not there.
Have you told Finn about this? Because I can't imagine him just going like flipping the desk about this. Like, screw you.
So there was actually a bit of contention, not like screw you type of thing, but like I posted originally right before I tried it on Twitter, and people said two different things. Some people were like, "Oh no, you'll just get stuck with it," and other people were like, "No, theoretically you shouldn't get it." And like when I did that, a lot of people were like, "Oh wait, really? That's actually a method?" I was like, "It's actually a method." So they're definitely aware of it because I'm pretty sure Finn was tagged in the post for it when people were like, "Hey, this totally works." And I think his response was something like, "Hey, got to be creative." I was like, "Yeah." So
that is amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
But yeah, it's
also
so
when you
like
said
if you no
like
go ahead.
when you said companions, it just dawned on me. We didn't even spawn our companions in the Asylum Sanctorum. We just went in there with four of us.
Went in there. They're pretty handy if you just want to fill roster spots.
Yeah. But yeah, so we are gonna start our perfectas whenever I can make time, because most of the time we decide on like, okay, let's play for example Tuesday, and I end up getting off work like 2-3 hours later, or I end up getting off work without feeling any energy to do anything. So
Sure,
you know how
I can
in
see
Sims or games like that they have bars like food bar, energy bar,
Yep.
fun bar, whatever. I have a do nothing bar that I have to fill up. It's a bar that fills up by me doing absolutely nothing. Now this involves gaming, watching something. It's a do nothing bar.
Yes.
So I have to fill that up before I can start doing stuff.
It's your fuel source.
Yeah. So sometimes that gets in the way of gaming or streaming or doing stuff as well. So yeah, if I can get rid of that bar, I'm gonna go back to doing stuff. But at the moment, it's there. So, but yeah, that's what I've been up to mostly in ESO stuff.
Nice.
And I guess I'll go back to story stuff as well once the new chapter hits, because I am like Blackwood story, Dagon and everything. Initially, I was very excited about it, but then I like the zone I loved and explored to the depths. But then story-wise, I never really got into it for some reason.
It didn't
for the
click
first
with
time
you?
in ESO as well.
So I don't think you're alone in that, and I was actually talking to Childless Sithis about this. I thought it was a very slow start. We're not going to spoil anything, just so people know. That's not the goal. The next chapter isn't out yet, so we're not going to spoil Blackwood here. But I thought it started pretty slow, and I was like, this isn't really what I thought this was marketed as exactly. I loved the zone. So I kept playing through, and plus I like to clear everything. And I as I went through, I actually ended up really liking it once it got going. And then the way it closed up, I thought the Deadlands was awesome, and I really liked the way it all wrapped up in the end.
Can
but
I just
it took
say,
a long time to get there.
I haven't even visited Deadlands yet. For
So-
months, I haven't left Leavin except to portal into dungeons.
So let me put it this way. Hot take. In the end, this is probably my favorite expansion.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, which is not, I don't think, a common thing. I just thought it tied together really, really well because I like all of them. So like Greymore was one where I didn't think it sounded like my cup of tea, but I did like it in the end type of thing. But like prior to this, Somerset probably had my favorite story. This one is definitely like fighting for that. Well, look, it's the Daedric part of Somerset.
You heard it, people. Somerset is Lotus's favorite expansion
No,
and storyline.
it's not like that.
He loves Altmere Dominion. He loves elves and their land and their stories.
That's it. I'm going into Cyrodiil. But yeah, so like I definitely really, really liked this season once it got going. But it definitely was kind of a slow start and not the direction I thought. But yeah, once it got going, I really liked it. And the Deadlands is just weird. Like, weird and bizarre references to Battlespire, which I personally appreciated because it made that trek through that game feel like it had more of a meaning other than just excessive punishment for everybody else's entertainment.
Goodness. Yeah, I might play it. I mean, Mechanically speaking, Blackwood, like the Blackwood expansion was absolutely amazing because companions, dude, I loved companions. I loved leveling them up. I loved trying to come up with most useful ways for them and everything like that. But yeah, for some reason, I just never got into the story of it. But that's
it just didn't click with you. And I think that was with a lot of people. So like, I kind of get it. But yeah, no, I definitely was a big fan in the end. So I guess with my stuff, one of the things that I've been getting shipped all sorts of fun stuff. Other than the awesome thing that I was sent from Zos, thank you again for that. One thing I'm going to try to show off on stream, it's very hard because it's in a sealed case, so it's reflective. But you'll be pleased to know, because it involves your best friend in the world, the glass version of armor. I got a physical version of my character. It is a statue of my character from in-game, sent to me from the UESP. They were doing this for Glass tier patrons and Daedric tier and stuff like that. And it's a basically, for anybody not on the video version, and it's also tough to see because it is in a case, so it kind of reflects, unfortunately, the light. There's pictures on my Twitter of what it actually looks like. But
it looks ugly. Spoiler.
How dare you? They did an amazing 3D print of your character. You could get it from the different games. I know it was a bigger project just from talking to them than they realized, because it was very intensive. But I mean, for anybody who saw it online, it had like a crazy response too. So if that's something you're interested in, keep your eyes peeled on there. The Elder Scrolls, the unofficial Elder Scrolls page is Patreon for the following year, in case they do something like that again. It's very impressive. It's just I always joke that I don't RP, but like my OC character, so to speak, is actually not my character. It's just it's the armor that my character is. It doesn't matter who's in the armor. So like that's always been the thing. So it's like it looks like it on different games and stuff like that. And it was kind of neat because they literally duplicated every part of what the character looks like, much to Ark's chagrin, because he hates glass armor.
Dude, I don't hate glass armor. I hate your glass armor with the default green. It's
it's not even default green.
I bet the 3D printer that printed that broke. The artist who had to model that out for the 3D printer probably quit his job.
Also, Lotus's character is actually just 3 raccoons in armor. But yeah, so, huge shout out to the UESP. Friends of the show actually have on a UESP hoodie. But yeah, they provide crazy amounts of information for all of us in the community. And they put in a lot of hard work over there. And this was just like an awesome idea and gift that they sent out to me and some others at that tier. So, that's really appreciate it. It's very, very cool. And I love it, and it will go on my shelf. I only took it down for this. Actually, it hasn't moved from the shelf since I got it. But the other thing that I had jumped into is I have my dungeon team that I talk about and will be referring to in a minute. But we kicked up a little group with, speaking of UESP, Doc from the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, as well as 2 of our friends as well. And we've just been doing random cleanup achievements in-game, in dungeons, like the weird things that most people either see or are just kind of like not even aware exist. Like, oh, do this hard mode while doing this thing and all of this stuff. It's basically 4 of us who are just interested in getting these weird achievements that have nothing to do, oftentimes even with skill, so much as just like, why would you do this? So that's been fun. We got our first session. We started off easy. We knocked out the Red Petal Bastion ones, which one of them's not getting hit by any of the running walls in the hard mode. One of them was specifically doing the fight with the main guy, and he has the 2 minions who come in, the archer and the 2-hander. and the second fight in Red Petal Bastion.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. So one of the achievements is just doing the fight incredibly wrong, which is to step on 40 of the traps that are thrown out in the fight. So you have to take a really long time running around just intentionally stepping on traps and blowing them up the whole time. These are the things why most people don't know they exist.
Gotten that by mistake because I don't care about traps. I just step on them.
So the thing is, though, 40 of them, you need to also drag the fight out to even get 40 of them. So it's not even like... And sometimes you burn too fast. So that, like, as a side effect, you don't
just gonna go in there with pugs.
That's true. Come on, guys, we'll figure this out. And then the other one was as the goat going and eating 25 sweet rolls during that goat fight.
Dude.
Again, requiring you to drag that fight out for so long.
Can I just say, though, the goat fight is my favorite fight in the game right now. Because you know how those sweet rolls give everybody ultimate regen?
Yes.
And you know how my build is already a massively stupid ultimate regen build? Dude, in that fight, I can keep, on my own, the major force from Warhorn 100% up just by myself. Warhorn every 10 seconds. It's insane. It's crazy.
So good.
Or I can keep Magma Shell up 100%.
Just all the time.
Never drop it.
Yeah, you're just permanently invincible.
Exactly. Yeah, that fight. I love that fight. It's stupid.
It's super fun. And so yeah, there's those are the things we did this last week. We're going to be messing around with the Dread Cellar next week and try to find some weird ones to do in there. There's a whole bunch of them. But yeah, so that's been kind of fun as just like a side project. And then the last thing that I've kind of done since the last show was one of your favorite hard modes that you definitely don't have any issues seeing things in.
Oh, Moongrave Fane.
Moongrave Fane. We went into Moongrave Fane and got the Perfecta run in there, which would be the hard mode speedrun and no death. We had several close calls in there. And without being negative, because that is a pretty cool dungeon, I will say points for creativity in that dungeon, absolutely. Minus points for that dungeon's performance. That place has a lot of technical errors. And pretty consistent ones, unfortunately. The big thing is, I've said, I thought the block mechanic was unique, but it doesn't work super great. I kind of hope they never address it again. I kind of hope they just leave that. So you know how you have to like slide the blocks around to...
yeah. The not blocking, but the actual, like the blocks.
The actual
I don't
physical
like that.
block.
Yeah, I don't like that. They're janky.
Again, they're very janky. And we lost several trifecta runs to the block being stuck in the chandelier in the ceiling.
In the ceiling?
Oh, yeah. And it's on video. How did you get it
up to the ceiling?
So when he resets the block by like putting up his arms and throwing it to the place, and then he goes behind it and you have to move it so that the dragon breath hits him, when it goes up, it gets stuck in stalactites in the ceiling.
What?
It can hit things up above the arena, and it will just get lodged in them. And on our final clear, because we had it happen so many times, our DPS got real efficient at it. If you can aim up, you can throw a light attack from a ranged weapon and push it off the stalactite.
Oh, wow.
And it will slide. And we actually lost several runs like that. Our final run, which was the ultimate brain breaker, 2 of us saw it in the ceiling, 2 of us saw it on the ground. So we weren't even seeing the same image.
How does that, like...
I don't know. It's very, very bizarre. There was also another really awkward situation, because I know you don't like the homunculi things, but so you know when you have to go to the pillars and the blood coagulants pop out as well, those little like red blobbies?
Yeah.
I got one shot because I wasn't blocking a heavy attack at like 20-something%, which was infuriating. And I watched the video over. I was like, why was I not blocking? What did I do wrong? A coagulant, because I was blocking so many homunculi, a coagulant got under my feet and it thought I was sliding down a mountain because I started to do the slide animation.
Dude. Okay, and that is annoying, but that is also very funny. I mean,
funny as hell. So my block went down, and my character started going and like sliding, and I got uppercutted into the wall. And I was like, "Are you? Why?" So that one was pretty entertaining and infuriating. Yeah. There was another one where we actually clipped the frame where I died because we all kind of face planted quite a few times. There was one where it said I wasn't blocking, and I watched it in ultra frame by frame slow-mo, and I literally had my shield up, and it was the frame the shield was going up that he hit me as the heavy attack, and it slipped in the damage before the shield, but the shield was literally on screen in the screen. I'm like, that's garbage. Yeah. But so we definitely had some interesting things. The other side effect of that place, kind of just to end, is the fact that our DPS have come up with their new thing of they use Thracian Stranglers for everything because they felt that they wanted even more damage than too much damage. And to build Thracian Stranglers, you need to get kills with you basically just kill anything and it adds a stack, and you get flakier but also do more damage, and they're sitting at like 9,300 spell and weapon power by the end of these dungeons.
Wow, okay.
They're made of glass, but which is an interesting choice for perfecta runs of no death, which stresses out our healer immensely. But they are hitting so hard, it's madness. Just for a gauge, like our speed run for Moongrave actually ended up, we did it in I think 21 minutes. The whole dungeon, and like we had fights that barely would last. It like the 2U fight before Grundwolf and the mage thing. We actually there's a way you're supposed to stagnate their damage so they never transfuse and trade health back and forth if you can keep them within 5% of each other. Yeah. There was one run where we actually got the achievement for never letting them transfuse because they killed the mage in 3 seconds. So the game literally couldn't do the first animation. So we ended up I was like, wow, that was a lot of damage. But yeah, so it was a struggle bus for that one, just because that hard mode is a lot, even error free, but it is super fun, and I'm glad that we knocked that out. We got 2 left, so next up is Lair of Marsalok, which should be interesting.
I don't look forward to. I don't know. I feel like we might not get those.
You'll be surprised once you get going.
Keep, like Falkreath Hall, Moonhunter Keep, the easier
once
DLC
you get going, it gets infectious. I also suggest start with Ice Reach.
Oh, that makes sense, dude.
It's one of the most manageable ones, and it's super fun, and it'll give you a gauge as how you guys do with trifectas or perfectas.
We thought we would start with Moonhunter Keep because we got used to it now that we did like a no-death attempt, so we are like warmed up for the Moonhunter Keep. So yeah, we'll see. I guess Ice Reach makes sense as well, but the final hard mode of Ice Reach, in my opinion, is worse than Moonhunter Keep's hard mode. It's a lot less manageable and a lot less RNG involved, especially with who gets the fire and stuff like that. So
it's definitely chaotic. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't. It's a good mix of not punishing burn the way that Moonhunter Keep does. Moonhunter Keep requires a lot of organization of controlled damage. Yeah. Again, not that you're wrong. It's just I feel that Ice Reach gives a little more room for error, actually, at least in my experience. I've actually done that one, I think, 4 times or whatever with just different groups. And so it's like, as long as you're prepared for it, it's a little more manageable, I think. Moonhunter Keep, Pure Lunacy is a pretty big flex still. But
I guess we'll see.
so I think being that you have D&D on the horizon,
Yes.
do you have anything else before we kind of close up shop and await Thursday's big reveal?
I'll shout out to D&D. So we actually passed 2-year mark on the Roads Less Traveled D&D campaign that we've been playing with Ophelia, Dawn Whisper, K-Pow, Ninja, and myself. It's a D&D game homebrew for Elder Scrolls actually. So it takes place about 4 or 5 years after the main events of Elder Scrolls Online. And we've been fighting, we've been more doing shenanigans than fighting, actually, but it looks like we are reaching the end. Only 3 or 4 episodes on the horizon, it seems, and then hopefully we'll start a new campaign, again, in Elder Scrolls, and all of that stuff you can find on Ophelia's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Ophelia. There's a collection called Road Less Traveled, which you can watch the entire backlog. And we will be live there for all of our live audience right now in about 20 to 30 minutes for our next episode. Other than that, my urge to go back to content creation is very strong. I'm currently debating whether to go back to my usual ways of not sleeping and doing everything at the same time, or, maintaining this somewhat healthier lifestyle. I have not yet decided, but we will see. Other than that, I am very active on Twitter mostly now that I don't really stream. Twitter.com/Arkhaniir, and I do the editing and everything else on the show still for you guys. So
the reason these shows actually come out on audio is Ark.
I have not given up on you. I just don't have the time to do the other stuff. Which, thank you, Lotus, for keeping this going, man. Almost 300 episodes. We are almost there for the 300 episodes. And if you hadn't taken up the helm, we would not have been here. So I appreciate it, man.
Well, no, it's my pleasure. It's a lot of fun to do, and I, with all the messages and stuff like that we've received, I know that even if we're just like background sound for people's enjoyment, if there's any way to provide that type of amusement, happy to help. So it's been, again, it's kind of weird to think that I never really intended on like running anything here.
It was the same for me, man. This is how it works.
But no, it's definitely a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do something interesting for episode 300. We'll have to plan something because that is a milestone you do not see a lot of podcasts hit. So the fact that all of you have kind of kept us going for this many years is like astounding. Like it is. It's weird to think that it's been that long before either of us, and the show's had a lot of transformation over the years, and I think that's kind of what helped it carry on. It's none of us individually, it's kind of just like a group effort. Yeah,
there has been over a dozen hosts and co-hosts involved in Tales of Tamriel since the beginning. Like legit more than 10 people helped make this show, not including the like special guests and obviously the audience. It's been amazing. Hopefully we'll, with the same idea, we'll continue to keep this going. I mean, see, if I'm unable, Lotus picks it up. If Lotus becomes unable, I'll pick it up. If both of us are unable, we'll find someone. This show will continue. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
300 episodes. I have no clues what to do. We'll have to.
I've got some ideas. We'll have to iron a few things out. We got a little bit of time, so keep your eyes peeled. And not to mention the fact we got some interesting episodes in between. So I guess that's pretty much going to do it. A little more reasonable. I know, shocking, reasonable time for a show here. But this was a little more condensed, as next week I fear for how long I will need to be awake for that show, because unless they literally say, hey, here's one thing and we're not going to talk about anything else, which they've never done once, I feel like there's going to be a lot to discuss after the big reveal next week. So prepare yourselves for that hype show. Yeah.
Because I want to be there for that episode. Like,
Yes.
I mean, every episodes I want to be here, especially when you have like amazing people like, you know, Nefas, Skinny Cheeks, you know, Matty, Avron, Deltia. I still haven't got, we need to get him back so I can chat with him as well. But yeah, with the next episode, I want to be there.
Yeah, I'll figure out. Basically, after the reveal, we'll start planning what we can do because obviously it's going to be a kind of like a big community thing, along with the actual show being like such a community effort. So I'll obviously keep you informed so that we can have like a nice, crazy discussion about all of that good stuff. And be excited for Thursday, everybody. Hopefully we'll get some really interesting stuff because it definitely seems like it's going to be that way. I guess that's pretty much where we can close this week as all hype goes into the next week and the reveal, but you can follow everything we do over at Dungeon Crawl. Oh, wait.
I just read a question on chat and I want to let everyone ponder on this as they listen to this episode, which has nothing to do with Elder Scrolls, but this is great. What are your thoughts on why the best tasting part of a cucumber is the worst tasting part of a watermelon? Yeah, ponder on that until next week, I guess. It's
that's deep.
Yeah, now
wow.
the outro.
Huh. Well, I don't know how to follow that. That should have just been the outro. We should have just done that. Actually, you know what, Ark? Since you're not even here that much, why don't you do the outro?
Oh, hell yeah. Well, you can follow everything we do over at DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, Spotify, and everything else. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork. Although I am not really good at the moment with the rewards there, but it helps support the show and help us pay for the hosting services and everything like that. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes they matter. Thank you all so very much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you all next week. Have a great, great day, night, and the time zone you're in.
Bye, everybody.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magic effused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.